Hey guys, my name is Mary Burton. I am going to do a little Prezi PowerPoint to briefly describe my superfood, which is sweet potatoes, and then I'm going to transition into actually preparing some. Okay, sweet potato characteristics. What do sweet potatoes look like? They come in a variety of colors from orange to red to purple. They have green or purplish stems in the form of vines which grow along the ground and are less than 6 inches tall. They have a milky juice and grow roots at nodes. They bear pale violet to white funnel shaped flowers, which I found pretty interesting because that's not something that I knew before my research. And as you can see, there's a plethora of colors, which is also something I found pretty interesting. I thought sweet potatoes only came in 2 colors, but they actually come in multiple. A brief nutritional value overview. I think this is important just to kind of describe exactly how good sweet potatoes are for you, other than it being a superfood with the other benefits that you get, and how to choose sweet potatoes. Generally speaking, a raw, medium sweet potato provides 922 micrograms of vitamin A, which helps keep your eyes, bones, and immune system healthy. It contains water-soluble vitamins as well, 3.1 milligrams of vitamin C, 0.27 milligrams of vitamin B6, and 14 micrograms of folate. It also provides 4 grams of fiber, 2 grams of protein, 0 fat, and 112 calories. That varies depending on which nutritional site you go on, but that's kind of general. How to choose. According to the University of Hawaii's Institute of Tropical Agriculture, a good way to choose a sweet potato with high carotene, which your body converts to vitamin A, is to choose one with darker flesh. Now, sweet potatoes are notorious for having a dirty exterior, and so when you're at the grocery store, I recommend kind of rubbing that off when you are trying to select one. Why is it super? This is the main part of my presentation. What's the big deal and why is it so important? It improves your blood sugar regulation. A certain type of sweet potato with white skin and flesh, Chiapio, has been suggested to improve diabetic symptoms in individuals with type 2 diabetes. The Chiapio, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, sweet potato may decrease fasting blood glucose and LDL cholesterol levels, as well as increase insulin sensitivity. Prevention of vitamin A deficiency. Deficiency can cause both temporary and permanent damage to the eyes and even lead to blindness. It can also suppress immune function and increase mortality, especially among children and pregnant and lactating women, which is something that we learned in our previous nutrition class. Sweet potatoes are an excellent source of high bioavailable beta carotene that is transformed into vitamin A in our bodies. Reduced oxidative damage and cancer risk. Oxidative damage to cells is often associated with increased risk of cancer. Diets rich in antioxidants such as carotenoids have been associated with lower risk of stomach, kidney, and breast cancers. Studies have shown that sweet potatoes contain potent antioxidants that may neutralize free radicals, which is a pretty big deal. Purple potatoes have the highest antioxidant activity. The antioxidant activity of purple sweet potatoes have been found to be 3 times higher than that of a certain variety of blueberries, which is a pretty big deal. What are the benefits that we can get from eating sweet potatoes? Does it prevent cancer? The burning question. In 1941, a unique protein later called sporamin was discovered in sweet potatoes. This protein can be identified as the Kunitz type trispin inhibitor, also known as a KTI, with potential therapeutic effects. It was tested against leukemia cells and was seen to suppress the growth in a petri dish, which I found very interesting, but was later contradicted because people questioned how the protein itself would be absorbed into our bloodstream, seeing that once it hits our stomach begins digestion. Sweet potato protein rapidly diminishes viability of tongue cancer within a matter of days, leading them to propose that sweet potatoes may be useful for human tongue cancer, but presumably not much else. Or so they thought. Remarkably, though, this class of proteins does not this this class of proteins doesn't just survive digestion, but may be absorbed into the bloodstream intact. In at least 2 of the 9 women with advanced cervical cancer they tried to give them to, which is a pretty big deal. So most recently, it was tried on colorectal cancer, one of our most common and deadly cancers. The best way to cook sweet potatoes. This is also a question that multiple people ask when wanting to know what's going to keep the most benefits. How am I going to prepare these with getting as much nutrients as possible? Baking, boiling, or steaming? Boiling may actually best retain the antioxidant power of sweet potatoes compared to roasting and steaming. If you compare baking to boiling microscopically, boiling helps thin out the cell walls and gelatinize the starch, which may enhance the bioavailability of nutrients, while all at the same time, the glycemic index of boiled sweet potatoes was found to be half of that of baking or roasting. So the boiled gives less of a sugar spike, which I found very fascinating. The peel of a sweet potato has nearly 10 times the antioxidant power as the flesh, an antioxidant capacity comparable to that of blueberries, which I mentioned before, though it really takes a hit when baked, wiping out over 2/3, whereas microwaving or boiling was comparatively much gentler. Baking can cause an 80% drop in vitamin A levels, which we noted was a very good component of the sweet potato itself, twice as much as boiling. So from a nutritional standpoint, boiling rather than baking can be recommended for sweet potato cooking. Cooking sweet potato leaves. I didn't know that sweet potato had leaves, but they do. Can you really eat them? Yes, believe it or not, you can eat the leaves that grow with the sweet potatoes. According to the University of Hawaii, sweet potato leaves contain only 32 calories per 5/8 of a cup serving, but provide you with more than 30% of your recommended daily intake of vitamin a small amount of protein, riboflavin, and phosphorus. The potato itself is where you will find the rich phytochemical components, but there are also nutritional benefits from eating the leaves, which I think is pretty great. Last but not least, fun facts. I was interested to learn that sweet potatoes were first cultivated by Native Americans and eventually became a staple in early homesteaders' diets. George Washington was a sweet potato farmer before he became a Revolutionary War general, and his soldiers also became fond of them. In 1918, during World War I, when the supplies of wheat flour were falling behind, the USDA utilized sweet potato flour to stretch wheat flour in all baking goods, which I thought was pretty fascinating. And now I'm going to transition back to my video.